Effects of the Twilight in Skies by LoboUrufu. Have you ever stopped and wondered about the red that covers the setting sun? Or the rays that the moon gives in the night sky? Because I certainly have. Ever since I was at a young age, I have always wondered about the mysteries that our world would give us. Walking from school to my home was a great time to either think to myself or talk to the one walking next to me. It was always a complete mystery to me how the sun would set and stars would appear at night. Sometimes I would stay up and stare out of my window before the sun set and see how fast the light would go into the darkness. After the sun sets in the mountain that stood in front of our home, as silence fell over our hillside neighborhood, I couldn't really question how the sun would disappear from sight. Even when you would go out walking somewhere for a late night jog, or even a quick stop to the nearby gas station for some drinks. Back where I lived, it was always dark, no matter how many lights were on during the night. You won't be able to see through the shadow that stood over you from the shadow that covered even the night sky. In fact, trying to look at the mountain seemed like a hallucination than a challenge. I remember living back at that old valley. Walking at night was one of the most horrible moments I could ever remember. And the worst part was that it happened frequently. It wasn't just one day or two. We lived at that valley for about 15 years. Watching the night was beautiful, but only if you stayed indoors. What was so frightening, you ask? It was not gunshots being fired, if that's what you think. It was not somebody yelling because they saw a fellow comrade being assaulted. And that was for sure not someone getting their wallet stolen. To tell you the truth, all of those horrible happenings, both my eyes still move in fright from what I saw at the corner of my window. My heart still beats hard to what I became aware about in my early childhoods. And my head is still trying to piece together what I saw when I stayed up all night just to know the truth. I'll tell you everything that I saw, but I can't promise you that you will believe me. I'm not sure if I believe myself. I was living in a fairy tale. I saw what others would only want to see in the movies. I felt frostbite without snow touching me. I stepped in worlds different from ours. And I have made friends, just as I've made enemies from those worlds. And I have made friends, just as I've made enemies from those worlds and ours. From dreams that buried my lungs in my sleep, to nightmares that still claw at my skull at night. And what's worse, I had no other choice but to accept what was happening to me. I couldn't have told my family. I couldn't have gotten friends involved. And in all those events that came in, as wild as a hurricane, one after another kept on making me realize one important fact that made me look at a ropes strangely for comfort. What led me to want to become an ornament? What made me to seek my own blood? What is happening to me? More questions came than answers did, sadly. But I was determined to seek the truth. I stayed up late at night during work days, school hours, just to figure out what was going through my mind. Nothing will stop me from knowing the truth, but the questions that kept me up all night. Each and every night ended the same for me anyways. So there was no fighting it. I had to end what I started. Even as a teenager, I told myself to face the challenges as a real man. I called myself foolish for how I thought for the most part of my young years. How can any of what I was doing be acceptable for any human being? But as the old saying says, curiosity killed the cat. I kept my mind straight for the answers that I admitted I was so desperate to get. And in the end, and didn't have one. I didn't have a logical answer to accept. I didn't have an answer that a human, living or dead, could be satisfied with. What I found was far worse than what any of us could imagine. You, the reader, should know that I am a man who is not evil. I am a man who is not good. I have done bad just as much as I have done good. And in order to stop the worlds that I have gotten to, you must accept that you are no better or less than any other human being who walks in this world. The information that scattered across my brain suddenly fell into place, piece by piece, and I was ready to start writing down the answers to the many questions that came across me. After many nights of struggle, after tossing and turning on my bed, and after many nightmares that even the dead were coming across me, I had to drop my pencil and bury my notes. What have I done? What have I opened? I felt like a scientist who will never find what he or she was looking for in the name of science, rather than that of their own name. A door has opened. An army has been awoken. A key has been found. The twilights are bleeding. The sun is crying. The moon is dying. The last of our human race is eating one another for salvation and hunger. Our lust has grown to the point that not even the richest will carry out his gold. Heaven's gates are closing. The infernal's fire has frozen. The universe has invited me in, but now with all that I have done, it wants me out. And with all that has happened, or is happening now, and has yet to come, I ask you, the reader, this one question. Just one and no other. What will you do in the name of yourself? When you choose, choose wisely. Don't choose out of curiosity. Choose out of your heart. Because I can hear it right now. As it dumps calm to rapid, and after trying to forget what I wrote, calms down again. And with all that I have done, I have chosen what I believe is an appropriate punishment for me. I live a life of pain. I chose to hide my body from eyes to show that we are all equal and can possibly go mad and attempt to end our own insanity. I hid my name in the earth and sky so that the wind can spill it like blood from a gunshot wound. And as for my friends, they might not forget me, for I am nothing but a mere shadow that lurks in the back of your memories. That is possibly the only effect that my own research has gotten me.